Hi, how are you guys? Today we'll show you how to fix MacBook Pro A1708 no power. This Mac, they sent it to a computer store and they tried to replace something like battery or something like that, and they did something wrong. So now there's no power on it. So step by step we'll figure out what's the problem on it, and let's get started. First we have the, I'll just take the motherboard out, and we need to figure out what's the problem on it. First we need to connect the AC adapter. The AC adapter, okay, and check if there's any volt here on this. I don't know if you can see that on the battery port. Okay, it sure gives you like 12 to, it's up like 12, 11, 12, 11. The order comes from SMC. It goes to MOSFET, to the controller here, this one, and after that it goes to the MOSFET, and from MOSFET it goes to the battery. So we need to check. Sorry, just give me 1 second to figure it out what happened here. So now we need to check 2 point something. Okay, if you do like short 0, 2 point something. Number 2, you have to check if there's any 20 volt here. If you go to schematic, let's go to schematic. There's a schematic here. You have to check if there's any 20 volt on this capacitors. 1, 2, 20 volt. You need to check if there's any 20 volt. If there's 20 volt, that means if there's 20 volt, that means you have the USB-C. It's 1, 2 USB-C chip working good, and the charging controller working good. So we need to check that. Go back to the voltmeter. Okay. The capacitor here, and you can see there's a 20 volts. 20 volts again. If you cannot see that, which capacitor, will go back to the schematic, and we'll see here the capacitor C7037 and C7035, those capacitors. So from where the 20 comes from, this resistor goes to this MOSFET, it goes to fuse. From fuse, it takes the order from the AC adapter. AC adapter gives 5 volt, and if there's any 3.3 enable on USB-C chip, that will change it to 20 volt. We'll explain to you later. So on this area we have 20 volt. That means the 2 chip, 1, 2 USB chip, that's U3 3200 and U30 100 working good, and you have The U7000 working good. So where's the short? What we're gonna do, we'll disconnect the AC adapter and we'll check. Most likely on this area there's a lot of problem, and we need to check if there's any shorted here. We'll go with this fuse. We'll change to microscope. I think that's gonna be better. Microscope. Okay, what we have here, let me see. There's two capacitors, 1, 2, that gives it. We get from this area 20 volts and 20 volt. It goes to the resistor. From resistor, the 20 volt, it comes from this chip, and this chip goes to the AC adapter. The controller here, USB-C controller, gives the order to AC adapter to change the volt from 5 to 20. Here, we'll check this area if there's any short. So, as you see here, we'll change to the diode. That will give like beeping when you short it. I'm going to short it, see here. I don't know if you can see or not. Okay, short it. So now we need to check the fuses. Go to this area and check, like this one. You see it's shorted. Here, shorted. Okay, so how can we figure it out? What's the problem? So a lot of problem comes from 1, 2, 3. Those chips, that's like MOSFET chips. It changed from 19 volt to 1.8, and after that there's a coil. And from coil it goes to the CPU. Hopefully it's not those 3 chips, because of if one of them bad, sometimes it burned the CPU because it passed 19 volt to this one or 18 volt to the CPU, and sometimes there's a controller prevent that happen. So if you replace it, it will work perfect. But first we'll go to the lower level, and after that we'll go to the higher level. We'll go to schematic again. Okay, here, if you can see, we need to separate this area. Those 1, 2, 3 chip. Sometimes some technicians, they removed it. I don't have to remove it. So we need to figure it out, the connection from where it comes and goes. So here, the connection, okay, one of them, the PP bus, G3 Edge CPU, okay. That's the 20 volt, because why it's 20 volt? Okay, because it comes from the same area. If you see this, 2 capacitors, it gives 20 volt. Okay, and there's a resistor here, and the resistor goes to the same area. So I wanted to separate chip from this area, because this one connects to this resistor and this resistor connected to the fuse, and there's a short here, and we don't know if this area shorted or this area shorted or that area shorted. Like if you see it, if you flip it, like see that's here. So to make it easy, we'll remove this resistor. That will separate the stage 1, the upper stage, from the lower stage. Okay, so we'll go back to microscope. The resistor what I'm talking about, this one, R003. We need to take it out, and I don't know if we'll take the fuse. Just let me check. Here's the heat gun. Now we need to check again. If there's any problem. I'll do shorted. I don't know if you can hear the sound. This one I'll put it on the ground. Put it on the ground. And the other one will check. So this area will connect to 1, 2, 3, the same like this one. The same connection. It goes here and here at 20 volts, or sorry, 19 volts. It goes to this area, and you can check there is no short on this area. Okay, if you go to schematic again, let me show you again. Go to schematic. This area. There you go. This area, this looks like good. So those 3 chips, I mean, working good. There's no short on this area or that area or any capacitor, any chip here. So what we're gonna do, we'll go to step number 2. Connection number 1, it connects this side and that side. And again, this one resistor. This one it's a resistor. Anything wrong here, that will disconnect the volts. We'll disconnect this chip to give the output. We'll disconnect this chip to give the output to prevent any problem, any burn on components. So this area here, we need to check. Most likely, if you wanted to check, the easier thing, just check the capacitors, because the shorted comes most likely from the capacitors, shorted area. And after that, I'll figure it out if there's any problem here. This one, it goes to fuse. Now, we'll go back. The microscope. This area. Okay. Shorted. Okay. So I have at this time to remove this fuse. Why? Because this fuse is connected to that chip. I don't want it to burn that chip, because we'll support 5 volts from this area to check if there's anything wrong on these capacitors. So I have to remove the fuse. It's 12, number 12, whatever. And make sure the connector here, just be careful, don't melt it. What we need to do, go to power supply and support will go 5 volts, 1 amp, 1 amp. Have power supply, support 5 volts, we'll show you here. Support 5 volts. Okay, to check the shorted area, 5 volts is good. And we'll check if that's the -1 and the plus. We need to schematic again. Put on this point the pin number 2. If I put it on pin number 1, those things depend on this. Okay. So before I do that, I wanted to make sure what area. Maybe we have this bad capacitor or this one. We don't know. So we need to check the 2 pin first. So we'll go back and we'll check the 2 pins here. Okay, the other one working good. That means the 2 capacitors here and that chip working good. There's no problem. Sorry, the nearest chip, not that one. So there's no problem on it. Go the shorted area. Okay, we'll check here, 5 volts. There's a shorted. Most likely the problem here. Why? Can't tell. They did something here. Anyway, what we have to use now, we need to use this one. Duster. That's the good one. I use it every time. But just flip it and try to spray the area. Figured out which capacitor is bad. But be careful, you have to have a ventilated area and you don't have to smell it. It's very hard to smell it. Okay, it's not good. This area, I need to take in something. Now we need to check. You can see here. 1, 2, 3. See? See this area? We'll do it again. One, two, three. So most likely this capacitors make that problem. Okay, go here. The problem here, you have 2 connectors. You have 2 options. Cover both of them and use the heat gun, or use the soldering iron. So I recommend to use this one and check. Make it easier. So I burned. It's burned badly. We just need to figure it out if we solve the problem or not. And now we go again. This shorted. Okay, we need to figure it out. was the problem here. So we'll go back again and check if there's any short. Short on the ground, yes. Here, nothing. Okay, we solved the problem. So what we have to do now, put solder a capacitor we have here from donor board. Take this one from donor board and put it here, and we'll do the same thing to prevent any problem or any melt on the connectors. Okay, and after that we have to put the fuse and the resistor back. Don't forget that. And you can test the motherboard if it will work. Hopefully it will work. There's no problem with it. I think on this capacitor I have to use the heat gun. Let me see. I need to clean it. Okay, let's see if it'll work. Let me see it here. It's not bad. Okay, now some work. Okay, this one here. Let me use some flux here. Make it easier. No. That's better. Let's clean it. And make sure everything's good here. It's not gonna work. Make it clean. Now we'll check again. There you go. We have some problem here, but it will work. If someone say, "Hey, where's this metal here or is missing?" or it will work. Don't worry about it. Okay, for sure it will work. Okay, check here. Nothing. So, what we're gonna do, we'll put everything back. Number one, the fuse. But first we need to put some things here, over there too, okay. And make it easier when you solder it, okay. And the resistor. Number 12. second. Anyway, okay, now it's good. You have two dots here. Those dots goes here. Okay, 1, 2, and the big connections goes 1, 2 here. So don't put it on the wrong side. It's not gonna work and make a lot of problem. Okay, now. Okay. After that, you would have to clean it. Okay, everything's clean. Okay. A little bit hot. I just need to. If you can see here, this capacitor was the bad one, and we replaced it by removing resistor here and the fuse to separate this stage from this area, okay, and this area too. So that's the way to fix most motherboards. So that make the fixing easier. So what we have to do now, I don't know if it will work like that. We'll put it just to check if it works or not. Things on the antenna. You don't need to connect the battery like this. I'll connect the AC adapter and hopefully that will work. Okay, the trackpad, touchpad, whatever, working. Take a while. So now it's oh, there you go. Okay, works. Okay. So now we figured out what's the problem on it, and we have a next video, the same A1708 but it's different problem. We'll figure out what's the problem on the next one, and we have 06 A1707, different like spill damage, power, some of them working but there's no screen, and a lot of customers, they send me MacBook Pro A1708 and 07. When you open it like 45-degree, works good. After 45, like when you make it like right angle, the backlight disappeared. We can fix this one too. If you see this video is useful, like it and subscribe, and please, if you have any comment, any question, just let me know, and see you next video.